Let me just know you can hear me well. Let me check my mic for a second. Audio, mic. Oh, yeah, that's not good. Mic. So I think that's better. Let me test it out. Sorry. Audio, and then if I switch it to, sorry, a bit of a slow. If I switch it to internal mic, let me see what this sounds like. Waiting for myself. Yeah, I think that's better. Okay, we're gonna stay with. Yeah, okay, we're gonna stay with this. Sorry, everyone. How are you? Thank you to anyone who's here. Liron here. We have a fun live. The thumbnail has me with a glass with a wine glass, but I actually have coffee instead. So I don't feel like drinking wine now. It's too early. It's late enough in the week, but it's definitely too early in the day for me, and I'm gonna be super tired later. So that's not good news. So thank you, everyone. Today we're gonna do something fun. We're just gonna do some Q&A. I actually asked for some of your questions on Instagram, and I'm gonna go over some of those. But mainly, it's just whatever we want to talk about. I actually have also two announcements. We'll get to in just a second. Really announcements, but two like updates. But yeah, let's get to it. Let's use here. Let me know where you're from, what time it is. As always, hey Chuck, how are you? Um, I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well. Chris is washing his hands. So what I'm doing here, I'm using StreamYards again, just because it's just a conversation. I don't need multiple angles, and hopefully it is good enough for this kind of a stream. I actually, so let me see if I can improve the video quality. It doesn't let me use 1080 with StreamYard for some reason, but what the heck? It's okay. It's much more fun because I can show you our comments. So Christine Bourgeois, how are you? Hello. Hey, Megan. How are you doing? Kazu and Haley Ron, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Hey, John, hope you're doing well too. Hey, Tom, hope everything is well. Tom is in Newcastle, UK, 2 p.m. Oh, so it's now 2 p.m. Yeah, so now there's a pretty major time difference. So we're at 4 p.m. Interesting. I think it wasn't that big of a gap a while ago. I don't know when the daylight saving thing changes. I'm going to get the coffee ready. David says, just a note to tell you how much I like the gas tanks and the construction scene. Thank you so much. Yeah, I have the construction scene here. I can show you a bit of it. A bit more of it. Hey, Garima, how are you? Megan says, it's 3 here in Germany. So you're in between, of course. That makes sense. In between the UK and here in Tel Aviv. So this is the construction site. I know many people liked it. For those who missed it, it's been a nightmare of a process in terms of it was challenging. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show you almost the entire process of painting this on Saturday's video, and it's gonna be fun because basically I think I'm gonna title the video "I painted this scene so you don't have to." Sorry, that's my phone. I painted this scene so you don't have to, just because it was such a, it was tough. Always delaying that gratification of like, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay. Trust the process, trust it even though it looks like crap at the moment. So yeah, James, hey, we're on sunny in London today. Nice slide out. Cool. Chuck says 9 a.m. here in Indiana. Wang says regards from Nepal, 7:50 p.m. here. Oh, so you're even later than us. Also makes sense. Yes, thanks. Were awesome. Thank you so much. Garima says it's 7:30 p.m. in India. Christine says, oops, missing your comments. Christine says, 8 a.m. in Minnesota. Tom says, yeah, daylight saving here from late October. Oh, okay, so it's been a while. So I'm just out of the loop. Thank you, John. Tom says, loving the result lately. Yaron, are you painting more or are you just posting more of your paintings? No, I'm painting more. So I find myself spending more time painting and spending more time on every individual painting. So I'm basically devoting more time to painting, but I'm also devoting more time to most of the paintings. Like today I did this, which you may have seen on Instagram, just another car. This is car 79. I have the numbers always here, top left corner. I always like to write them because otherwise I'll forget. So we're really close to finishing the challenge, and I'll probably, once I get there, I'll make a huge post showing everything, like with tiles and stuff like that. And I just wonder what it would look like to see all the results together. In addition to that, one cool thing is I need to start thinking about the book. So I don't know how that's going to be, what it's going to look like. I got to figure out the whole publishing thing. Maybe I should turn to a publisher instead of like do it independently. I have no idea, honestly. So we'll see about that. But it could be like a really cool idea. Or I could print it myself, go completely rogue, print it myself, sell it directly. We'll see about that. I have to figure it out. But I really like this one. It's a very atmospheric scene, as you can see. I know the camera isn't the best. By the way, let me switch between the cameras. I'm going to try. So I have my normal like Mac camera, but I don't know if that's better quality. I actually don't think so. I think the previous one was better. So let's just stick to the Mac camera. I use it sometimes, the one I just showed you for interviews, but I don't know. I don't like it as much. So let's see who else is in the house. Hopefully I can entertain you while you're doing whatever you may be doing at the moment. Then I want to share with you some stuff, actually. So we'll get through some more comments and then we'll talk. Stylish Girl says, hi. Hello yourself. Hey, Suzala, it's been a while since I saw you here, I believe. New York City, 9 a.m. Yeah. Early in New York. Dean, hey, how are you, my friend? Philadelphia, 9 a.m. Stylish Girl, 7:30. Oliferous, how are you? Hey, brother, it shows. Thank you so much. Russia, Krasnoyarsk, snow. Oof. I want some snow. All we get is rain and like it's hot outside. Do you have Instagram, Liron? So yes, definitely, I do have one. It's Liron Yan IL. You can just search Liron Yan, LIRON YAN, and it will probably autocomplete. Liron Yan was taken. Just Liron Yan was taken, and it was taken by an account that doesn't post anything, I think. So that sucks. I want that one, but I can't have it. Depth in the car painting is great. Thank you so much, Tom. I hope to scan it right after the live stream and post like a proper scan on Instagram. This is actually not paper white. It's an underpainting I did. I did a few glazes here actually. Try taking it a few more steps at a time. UAs on cars. Thank you. Yeah, cars. I'm just more experienced with them, so of course I'll get them like that, you know. But thank you so much, Chuck. Blanca says, hi, Liron. Lima, Peru, 9 a.m., 7 minutes a.m. Peru. So awesome. Miss Peru. Maybe I can do like a live stream or show you pictures from South America. I have a few really cool ones. Maybe I can do that. I think I did a video on that. Or maybe, I think I did a video on that. I have to check. I don't remember exactly what I said there. Wayne, can you make some tutorials about perspective? It will be really helpful. Yeah, I have a ton. So if you didn't check them out yet, watch them. I will do more definitely planned. I generally want to do more drawing videos. I feel like I've done a lot of watercolors. Maybe we can go back to some drawing and sketching. Actually, I think I'll do more of it. I needed to say it to you to understand that that's something I really want to do. So let's put some more emphasis on drawing. So actually, I'll just say, I wanted to ask you, everyone who's here, what kind of videos you'd like to see. I'm trying to do a bit of a poll just to figure out where you're at. So perspective, that's a great idea. Or what's the thing you're currently really struggling with that I may be able to help with? These are two things I'm curious about because I feel like every once in a while I go through waves where I really feel like I'm one with you. I know exactly what's your problems, what's your issues, and then I kind of lose track of it and I kind of detach. I don't know, it just happens naturally. And then I have to go back, read a lot of comments, ask, do some messages, and really figure out where people are at. So I feel like I'm kind of losing that connection. I need to bring it back and go more to the basics probably. So curious to hear. Let me know. That's nowadays the opportunity. Thank you, Wayne. I'll definitely do more on perspective. Dean says, Liron, I'm an author. I can help you with publishing. Yeah, sure. Well, we can talk for sure. Or we've been talking on Messenger, right? Facebook. So we can talk there. That'll be cool. So I published all of my books. I don't even know if people know this. If you go to my channel, you'll see my how to sketch book. There's like a link there. Um, so I published all of my books independently on Amazon, and then I talked to a few publishing houses. So a Russian publishing house and a Spanish publishing house who bought the language rights and published some of my books in those languages, Russian and Spanish. So most, and it's been great. Actually, it's been great to talk to them and to get some work done with publishing houses. It takes a lot of the, removes a lot of the marketing work from you, which is, by the way, something I can talk about more too, like the business side of things. It's been a while, but it really removes a lot of that worry, and you can focus more on just creating the thing. So I think I'll do some more reaching out to people and to publishing houses generally for my existing books too, which is something you can always do. Thank you for the offer. Aaron Black says, hello, everyone. I hope I didn't miss out a lot. You definitely haven't. We got started not too long ago. So I will, just a quick update. I have started the Christmas sale for this frustration-free watercolor course. So and I'll leave a banner on. Let me actually type it because I didn't prepare it in advance. Frustration, bear with me. Free watercolor course Christmas sale, and then link in description. So description. It's hard typing live. So we're gonna do this add, and I'm gonna show it. So if you haven't yet gotten it, which I know most people, especially people who are watching these live stream, probably have, but if you haven't, it's a nice discount. So it's $24 instead of $29. A good opportunity to get it. Just wanted to let you know about that. And I'll go back to the question from earlier. That's the main thing. Like, I want to know your struggles, the things you want to hear more about. That's one thing I'm definitely curious, because I want to slowly direct the content in that direction. One more thing, I'm considering changing up the schedule a bit, which is something crazy. I haven't done that in a long time. I just feel like I want to break the routine a bit. So I don't know, what would you think of just sporadic uploads, like whenever I feel like it? And it doesn't mean I'll post once a month or something like that, but maybe break the schedule off, and like one day I feel like posting, I'll post there. Maybe I'll do more than 3, maybe I'll do less. Just, I wonder, and maybe I want to play around with that. Or alternatively, I have this idea. I'm considering getting rid of one video a week and just dedicating more attention to the other 2 videos. One is going to be live, one is going to be like a pre-recorded, maybe even 2 live streams, because you don't need to edit that. And then I can first dedicate more time to the other videos, the fewer videos. Or what I can do is spend more time like in the comments and messages, because I don't do enough of that. I have so many messages and so many comments, and like, why not just remove one video and actually talk more personally with you? So I don't know. Let me know what you think of that kind of a thing. I'm curious to hear your thoughts, and let's continue with some comments. Annette says, hi from Holland. I just discovered your channel. I love it. I'm trying to paint and sketch along as much as possible. Thank you. Thank you so much, Annette. So I'm curious to ask you, what's the thing that made you maybe subscribe? Like, is it the painting? Is it the sketching more? What do you care more about? I'm really curious to know. Let me know that. I'm gonna write down all my insights. So yeah, and just any general question, everyone, you have now, just feel free to ask. So we did that, and yeah, we're gonna jump soon into some questions from Instagram. A couple of nice ones there. Kutekilala says, hello from Florida. Welcome aboard. Thank you for being here. Let me get rid of this for a while. Leffer says, I can't believe you're almost done with your cars. That's huge. Yeah, it's been a while. I had no idea, honestly, how long this project will take. I think in the beginning, I was like, oh, maybe 6 months or so. I could have finished it months before. It's just a lot of things really were prioritized over it, which I don't regret one bit. I'm actually happy that it took like a year and a half. I'd much rather do it in my own pace and, really take my time. And what's cool about it is you get to see some progress too, because a year and a half is a long time. And I think for sure the first cars were a little overworked, and they kind of nudged me in the right direction of don't do it this way, try and do it that way. And what's interesting actually about this one in particular is that I was able to combine two things here. So one of them is that glazing, so slower process. But within the glazes, I did try and merge a lot. So I did a lot of wet and wet together, like the tires here and the details and the darks here were pretty much all done inside the washes. So it's not a separate wash on top for the details. It's done in the framework of a wash that covers everything, all of it. So I did a wash that was flat, and you can see it on the stories. And then I didn't just put in the dark details. I did a wash that covers everything and put most of them wet and wet. So I'm trying to find that hybrid process where I can paint a la prima, the details together with the careful glazes. I hope that makes sense. Bit of a weird one, but we'll see where it takes me. I do have to mention, by the way, I can star a comment. So what happens if I star it? I have no idea what that means. I don't know. It's funny. I don't know what it means. But one thing I'm wondering where this process will take me, and I feel like I got so much into the weeds of the improving and the process that I need to take a few steps back for the sake of the videos and actually do some more beginner stuff. So you can expect that next week will probably be very beginner. You will see. So yeah, some more comments. We have Maren. Hello from Germany. Thank you for being here. Sorry it's been so long, but yeah, no worries. No worries, Olivers. Thank you for being here. Much appreciated. A.A. Hudson, good morning from Akron, Ohio. Nice place. Thank you for being here. Michelle says hello from France. Nice, 3 p.m. So yeah, 1 hour earlier. I wonder what the weather's like now in France. I guess it changes based on where, but yeah, curious. Megan, the idea of painting cars sounds incredibly boring to me, which maybe means I should try painting. No, definitely not. I think if there's a subject that you enjoy, like something else, whatever it is, landscapes, seascapes, flowers, still life arrangements, go for that. Go for something you like. Like one cool idea I just thought of is to do maybe 100 glasses or something made of glass, because that has a really cool texture and the way it reflects the light, and it's not easy too. So that could be really fun. So I'd say choose a subject you really enjoy. Like I'm not losing steam in terms of the cars. I still have motivation to paint them, which, by the way, I wasn't expecting. I was like, even a subject I really like, I bet you I'll start hating it after a while. And nope, I still like it and I still enjoy it. So I'm lucky, I guess. By the way, I really like this transition here from this light to this dark. This looks so good. But in any case, I don't know why I'm not losing any steam. I still enjoy the car, so definitely choose something else. If you want to challenge yourself maybe with a boxy shape, choose something that has a bit of perspective tied to it. But I wouldn't paint cars. It's not for most people. Suzala says, hope all is well. Happy holidays. Thank you so much. I actually had an interesting insight in that last garlic video that I did, the very loose garlic painting process. I got so many comments that were like, finally, a loose subject that isn't like cars and cityscapes and tight stuff. So my taste in what I like to paint is so different from most people that I need to at least be aware of that, and put it in the back of my mind. And maybe sometimes do something nice for a change that other people or more people can relate to. The core of my art will probably always have these things in them, like the cars. Like even in that under construction painting that I did, there's a car. You probably noticed it down here. That's a car. There's always going to be a car because I love them. But I could maybe, try and match and do some subjects that other people like as well, not just be super duper in my own niche. By the way, happy holiday season to everyone who's celebrating. We just had Hanukkah here. I'm going to put in another layer. It's getting cold. Let's do this. It's really a problem because now we're with this weather where it's cold, but once I start walking outside, I always heat up so fast that it's just not really, it's not fun. So I sweat when I wear long clothes, like long shirts or pants and everything when it's rainy, and I still sweat. So yeah. Luisa says hello from Philippines, 10 and 8 minutes p.m. Cool. So it's late. Love Sunshine, how are you? Have you been? says hi. Tom says IG link in description, like and subscribe. Oh, thank you so much. And if you can take a second to like the video, yeah, I would really, really appreciate that. Helps more people find it. Car painting looks like an actual photograph. Yeah, Garima, that's so I find that to me it's easy to get that photorealistic almost look when it's an atmospheric scene. So this one's fairly atmospheric. The reference photo to begin with, it's kind of against the light, and it was a very hazy day, and it's actually a part of a large picture that I took of a scene that I painted in small. I found it on my phone accidentally. It's from like 3 years ago, probably I think 2 or 3 years ago, maybe even 4. Zoomed in on it and just grabbed a screenshot of that photo and used that. So that's funny. Luisa asks, did you go to art school? No, I haven't. I did acquire some art education online. That's how I do it. I just pick and choose whatever I want to learn. One thing that could be really good about art school is that it does open up your mind to different things, which is something I may want to do in that regard, like do something completely different. And see how I like it, because I am running the risk of being super narrow-minded, So there are advantages to art school. The one thing I'm a little cynical of is a lot of people that really hang on to their art school degree, and they it's like the first like byline, you call it. It's like the first line they put in their descriptions and online profiles, or Facebook or stuff like that. Alumni of whatever, and I'm like, even if had I gone to one of these schools, I don't know if that's the first thing I would write, because that's like tons of people go through these schools. If you have enough money and you have enough money for the schools, because I think some of them are rather expensive, and also for the day-to-day life, because what I found is art school is super expensive, more than other degrees, which is a little ridiculous. You study art, you have to buy all the materials. You do get discounts in almost all stores, but it's still super expensive, super long hours, super tiring, which is good. I mean, that's good. You work hard. But like other degrees that eventually lead to professions that make you more money, you spend less money on a day-to-day basis. So like you're a broke art student, and you need to spend more money than other students, like physics, STEM stuff, So yeah, that's my little art school rant. I'm all for it. If you find, let me get this closer. If you find that either you're really interested in that, let me just sit back and relax in my chair. So if that's something you want to try, I'm definitely for it. What I would suggest, and I don't insinuate that you want to. It's just a general question, but I would say talk to people who did it. That's the best way to discover if something is for you or not. To talk to people who actually did it. That's, I think, the number one thing to do. So yeah. Moran, I'm struggling with correct placement of dark shadows when there are edges where they jump off and stuff. Correct placement of dark shadows when there are edges where they jump off and stuff. So what do you mean? Do you mean different transitions of the edges, like smooth, hard edges? Let me know. I'd love to hear more details, actually, if you could be specific, because I am addressing it in my upcoming course, which is another update. I'm done about 70% of my upcoming course. I'm working literally on 3 more lessons out of 15. Of course, I then have to edit the whole thing, which is going to be a doozy, as they say. But it's actually quite close. I wanted it to be out by, kind of Christmas. Ain't going to happen, but it's going to be out kind of a New Year's resolution thing. So you will hear me a lot in maybe January, February, going like, now's the year to learn watercolor realism, and then I'll push it more. But I think it's going to be excellent. It's going to give you a blueprint for painting realistically, start to finish. You don't have to wonder how to do this, how to do that. I talk about shapes, I talk about values, I talk about edges, which I don't talk much on the channel, and go into a lot of details into the edges. But I'm curious to hear, Marin, what specifically do you mean by that? Let me know. But I am going to jot it down as a note. Edges, because I do want to address it in a dedicated video. Karima says, more tutorials on improving basics. Yeah, I have it down. Next week is going to be beginner week basics. It's hard. It's easy to kind of forget that I'm improving and I need to constantly match it. And you know what's funny? I find that the videos that get the most views are aimed more at beginners, and it's usually the larger successful channels. And I try to find a nice balance between the two, but I try to be the source that people can go to for more intermediate stuff. I wouldn't say advanced because I have a lot to learn yet still, but at least for the intermediate stuff. But I do want to give a lot of room to beginners as well. So probably we'll see more of that. Thank you so much. That's great feedback. Ara Verma, a vlog in professional artist life. Oh yeah. So I had this cool idea, and I'm gonna write it down. It's gonna happen. So I had this cool idea to just document a full day, like I did before. Kind of turn on the camera here, walk into the studio with my teeth brush, kind of going like this, showing how my day begins. Maybe even do a quick film of a walk with Ruth. Come back here, show you what I'm doing. Just kind of a snippets of, here I'm painting, here I am filming a video, here I am posting content online, here I am practicing anatomy, all sorts of stuff like that. Here I am replying to emails, just to show you. Yeah, that'll be fun. It's been ages since I did blogs. I also will start painting more outside. I already started. And that could be fun to document as well. These videos have done really well. Susala says pricing. Okay, good. Pricing. That's a good topic. A lot of it is very subjective, by the way. So there isn't a right answer for pricing. Just to throw some thoughts at you real fast. My guide is I cannot ever feel disappointed that or cheated that I sold something at a specific price. Which is funny because that feeling really changes with time. I look at old prices and I'm like, gotta increase them. And I try to increase them with every new painting that I share on the gallery. James L. Baker, water to paint ratio in brush and on paper. Understand value gradations, especially in landscape. Yeah. So that's something I will talk about in the course as well. I know it's a big topic, but I will address it. Water to paint ratio. I can dive deeper on that. So another idea I had was, why not take a few lessons from the course and post them on YouTube? One of them is water to paint ratio, so I may post that. Thank you so much, James. Wayne, I would love to see you painting and drawing live subjects, not looking at photos. Oh, cool. So like to put something in front of me on the desk, which is something I did before. So that could be cool. So let's say live painting or like not photo, basically not photo reference. Photo ref. So yeah. Cool. Let's see here. Stylish girl, how do you paint shadows in watercolor? Like how to know whether to make the shadow too deep or too loose? What do you mean by deep or loose? I'm wondering. Do you mean, again, the smoother edges? That's something I will talk about a lot in the course. I filmed a few lessons I think are great. I'll actually post one of them here on the channel. So definitely edges, shadows. Shadows are like the biggest things people ask about. You know what? I have an idea for a video. Vid idea. I got a good idea for you. I'm going to write it down. So I need to zoom out a bit and address the topic as a whole. I will do that. Great. Thank you so much, Stylish Girl. You really helped me, actually. Marin, I'm with James L. Baker. Great suggestion. Awesome. Will do. Manette says, hi, Liron. Good evening. I'm on time, not late anymore, Philippines. Thank you so much for being here, Manette. Hope you're doing well. John, hopefully I'm pronouncing it right, as always. I would like to see more landscape tutorials that include animals. Oh, cool. I always want to do these, and I never get to. So landscapes plus animals. Landscapes plus animals. So you say horses, sheep, cows, etc. Yeah, cool. I'm going to write it down. That's a great idea. I always want to do these, and how you break adding animals to basic shapes without making it an animal portrait. Yeah. So I believe you have seen the live stream. Yeah, the live stream I did when I painted 3 sheep. One of them is really up close, one of them is a little farther, and one is the complete scene. It covers exactly what you're asking about, so you probably have seen it. But if you haven't, check it out. It's really good. Actually, I'm gonna, just for the chance that you haven't watched it, I'm gonna share a link. Okay, just for you. I know there's a good chance you've seen it, but I'm just better safe than sorry. So if anyone else wants that kind of thing, you can definitely check it out here. It's exactly that. It's even bigger than just painting animals. It's really about how do you paint them as a part of a scene rather than a zoomed in subject, but also as a zoomed in subject. So yeah. And Manesh says, good evening. And I'll say thank you. Yeah. I have seen. Tom, more seriously, I'd love more portraits, speaking selfishly as I want to do more. Yeah, okay, definitely. Portraits are hard. I'll do more. Oh, actually, I know you've seen them. Portraits. I did 2 portraits for the watercolor realism course. One is blue, one is black and white. That I have them always handy. I'll show you again. I know you probably have seen them, but for those who haven't, let me show you. So there's this one. It turned out really nice. I know a lot of you have seen. This is going to be step by step there. I'll probably also post this one on YouTube, but that's like the main process that I show in the course. So that's something to look forward to, hopefully. And then there's the blue portrait that probably a lot of you have seen too, but for some reason I don't see here. Where did it go? Is it larger? I think it's larger than this bag, so I didn't put it here. But if you want to see, oh yeah, here it is, right here, this one. It looks a little patchy, but I actually really like it. So yeah, there will be more portraits. Now, if you're talking about drawing portraits, that's super hard, and I usually trace. I don't think I have a lot to give like better insights. There are people that are more suited for that than me, but I can show you my general approach. I can try and do that. If I have to draw them from observation. Christine, let's give Liron more likes, people. Thank you so much. Thank you for the support. More people are finding the stream, so I guess the likes are working. If you still haven't liked this live stream, please do. It helps more people find it, and more than that, it means a lot to me. So if you can, Garima, if you can do tutorials on human portraits, yeah, okay, good. Portraits seem to be a recurring request. Might be different from Megan and others, but I've definitely decided recently that I do more and improve more if I try to mainly paint things which are meaningful to me. Yeah, that's so true. That is so true. Just like the under construction painting, like the gas cans painting, this is super important. I'd much rather, if I had to give up a subject, I'd much rather give up a subject that I don't enjoy as much. Even though, to be honest with you, you know what? Well, it's tricky. So if I see something in front of me, it immediately gets more importance and meaning. So if I'll paint a friend, for example, even if portraits aren't my main subject, it will be like a meaningful thing. If I paint a scene around the house or my studio, that will mean a lot to me. So that is one thing that really works. So if I had to give up a subject that I don't really like or that I don't care much about, I wonder what it would be. I think maybe seascapes, just because I like the others so much. But but if it's a seascape in front of me, I would love to paint it too. So yeah, it's interesting. I think you can make a lot of things meaningful to you once they're in front of you. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. Plein-air turns every scene almost to, interesting. And the technique can also grab a lot of your kind of fun and enjoyment. Ariel Myers says, just wanted to take a minute and send you love and happy wishes for the holiday. Thank you so much. And I'll forward that to everyone here. I hope you're having a nice holiday season, getting ready. I personally think it shouldn't first. So yeah, definitely. I agree. Annette, why I really like your channel? Because I love the way you use colors. You know how to share the knowledge you have. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate it. So colors, one of my most successful videos that I was like, yes, great success, was like, I think it's titled like colors, how to use them in watercolors, something like that, which is still one of my favorite colors. Videos. I paint this, old truck or car or pickup truck, something like that, using a bunch of different colors all over the place. That was really fun. That brought a lot of people into the channel. So it was great. I should do more of that, like really, really expressive paintings. I haven't done an expressive painting in a while. Colors plus expressive. I'll do more of that, like fun, colorful. I need to do more of that because I really enjoy it. I would love to learn how to watercolor portraits with or without sketching first. Thanks. Rain in Holland, by the way. Cool. Good. So portraits, I'm going to do a couple of check marks next to them for emphasis. Definitely portraits. First, that's so awesome, man. I'm so proud of you for actually doing it. You totally got me into painting cars. Initially, I didn't like painting cars, but I love them now. They really helped me with cityscapes. Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, I find that if you're having a hard time with a big scene, you can dumb it down to its smaller elements so that you end up painting some cars separately, painting some people separately, painting the street, or like, a few signs even, and then the buildings. Then you can connect it all together and it works well. So happy to hear. That's really, really cool. Dushan B, hi Liron. I'm always learning from you. Really helps me to improve my art. I'm planning to start a YouTube channel for painting, which I have zero ideas regarding initial arrangements, not materials. So you mean like camera, stuff like that? I would say don't overthink it. If you have a decent phone, you can actually start with that. And start even short videos, kind of do like a couple of minutes, get the hang of uploading. And one thing I'm starting to realize is like, and that's not like the technicality of it, it's more like the YouTube algorithm, the infamous YouTube algorithm, trying not to be a slave to it and actually do the videos I want to do, even if they're a bit off topic. Sometimes I feel like I have to do a specific topic and I try to not, because I know it will work, or because and I don't do many off-topic videos because most of the time I actually really enjoy the normal content. But every once in a while, I feel like it, and then I'm too lazy, or it does end up happening, like Ruth's birthday video. So yeah, just whatever you do, just make sure you enjoy the topics you cover. Don't feel forced to do any topics just for views. I'm really trying to balance that out, because it's easy to fall into that trap. And I constantly fall into it, get out of it. That's how it is. Excellent advice indeed, but the idea, how to approach. Yeah, so feel free to shoot me an email or a message, and maybe we can discuss it. Let me know or if you can give me now more details about like what you enjoy doing and so on, and give me more details, and I can maybe help direct you. But the main thing is for you to really enjoy the content you make. I think the best thing to do is to make the kind of content you want to watch. That's actually the best thing you can do. It's very hard to do sometimes as well. I don't think I'm in a place where I'm doing that fully. Scratch your own itch, as they say. A. Hudson, I'm not a beginner, but not advanced. This is in between stage, makes my work seem random and less deliberate. Any advice for artists who has feared of peaking? Improvement has been very slow lately. Yeah, I can totally relate to that. It's almost like a mental trap again, because what happens is usually if you just continue doing what you're doing, you will break out of it. It's almost like the belief that you'll get out of it will get you out of it, because you'll just spend a lot of time painting. So I will say that's totally normal. I'm going through it. You feel like you peaked, but what will happen is continue practicing. If you paint the same thing over and over again, use the same process, use the same technique, my suggestion would be to maybe try and shake things up a little. Do something different, paint a different subject, use a different color, use a different brush, whatever it is to break the process a bit. If you're doing usually landscape orientation, do portrait orientation. Do a very thin portrait orientation. Challenge yourself. Do that kind of a thing. I promise you, if you just continue practicing, at some point you'll feel like you broke through that feeling like you peaked. Because I know exactly what you're talking about. And every time I stay on the course and continue practicing and painting, doing finished paintings, doing practice sessions, doing both, every time I do that, after a while, I'm like, oh, I haven't peaked. I'm actually okay. I reached a new level that I didn't know was possible. And then you can fall into the trap again and think, oh, now I peaked. And then again, after a few months, could take a year, you'll be like, oh, no, when I look back, that second time I thought I peaked, I haven't. And the more proof of that you'll get, it's just not going to happen. I don't think it will happen for me anymore. The idea of feeling like I peaked. I don't relate to it anymore. But I went through it many times in the past. So that fear, as real as it feels, it is probably a figment of your making. Let's phrase it this way. Keep doing the things you're doing and shake it up if you are really doing the same thing, because I do see quite a lot of artists that just spend time doing the same thing, like Einstein said, that it's the definition of insanity. You won't get anywhere if you're just doing the same thing. If your goal is to expand, right, if your goal is to feel like you're improving, because you'll just become very, very good at one way of doing things. I highly recommend shake it up if you're doing the same thing. Now, if you've already went through these cycles of breaking your own patterns, that's perfectly fine. I think you just continue doing what you're doing and you should be good. I can definitely relate, though. I really had that, I think 3 years ago, 2 years ago, I felt that a lot. That feeling of like, I'm in between. I'm like, I'm not really good, but I'm definitely not a beginner. So am I going to be stuck in this limbo for a long time? The answer is usually no. Hope that helps. Pratik says, hey, Liron, great fan of your growth as an artist. I want to learn, but could you share where do I start? I'm in my 40s and getting frustrated. Don't have art education, but want to do art before I say goodbye. Yeah, 40s to me is super young. I don't know. Like I'm getting more and more of a perspective on age. If you'd ask me a decade ago when I was 20 or 21, I'd say, oh, 40 is old. But now when I'm 31, I'm like, 40 is nothing. It's the same thing. It is the same thing. Don't let that very random number that has no meaning. I got a phone call, but let me check who it is. Just 1 second. Hello. כן. יגאל, מה נשמע? אני יכול לחזור אליך? אני בדיוק בלייב. אני פשוט אחזור אליך שאני אסיים. תודה רבה לך. ביי. Okay, yeah. It's a good thing I answered it. It was a phone call I was expecting. I just didn't know the number. So, yeah, that was the word I was looking for. Arbitrary number means nothing. Just do what I did. Just get started. Paint, start small, paint shapes, paint lines with the brush. Find something you really like that you're like, I like how that looks, and try and paint that. Same thing, find an artist that you really like and say, I'm going to try and recreate their paintings. There's nothing wrong with that. It will teach you a lot. Get going. Think about it this way. To me, if I think about it like, let's say a decade of painting, 10 years of painting, which I still haven't gone through. 10 years of painting sounds like a lot. So if you're going to now paint for a decade, you're in your 40s, you'll be 50 something, right? 50 something is like you still have time. You know what I mean? Hopefully, everyone's situation is different, health stuff, but generally speaking, for the majority of people, if you have a decade under your belt and you're 50 something years old, even 50, late 50s, you're still good. And you're enjoying it along the way. That's like the most important thing to me. Sometimes I catch myself during a painting process. I'm like, oh, I wasn't fully immersed. Let me just enjoy this brush mark. And it's so much fun. It's so much pleasure. I look at the paint, just stare at it, do some wet and wet, see what happens. That you can start doing tomorrow and have a great time. So I hope that helps. I hope that gives some encouragement. Todd Mitchell, ever tried calligraphy on watercolor paper? I'm learning it's a challenge to paint on paper. It's good for writing with modern split nibs and vice versa. No, so I haven't done any calligraphy at all. I usually paint on rough paper or usually cold press, sometimes rough. I actually recently got hot pressed, and I think that will be more suitable. Learning it's a challenge to paint on paper. It's good for writing with modern. So do you find? Oh, okay. I see what. So do you find the watercolor paper easier to do calligraphy with modern nibs on? I'm curious, but I don't do calligraphy. I have no idea. Don't know much about it. I'm not as interested in calligraphy personally. Like I enjoy sometimes looking at people writing really cool stuff, but not for me as much. I do enjoy like kanji, Japanese letters, because I'm studying Japanese. It may be fun to do some Japanese calligraphy, but it's not something I've gotten into. So unfortunately, I don't have much experience. I do sometimes enjoy seeing people do it with like markers and stuff like that. That's really cool. Or with nibs. or like, there's unique nibs that have like four, that splits into four. I love that kind of a thing. But yeah, just to look at usually. Nancy G, why did you sell your guesting painting for 443? Is that a price for guess? It's funny. Yeah, so the arbitrary price was because I sold it to someone here in Israel, and the price was in Israeli shekels. So it was a round number in Israeli shekels, and it's not rounded dollars. So that's the price. So you can actually go 443 USD to ILS, and you'll see that it is 1,400 Israeli shekels. So that's the reason. The price for gas, though, I'm curious. It's super expensive here. Yeah, it's terrible. Bart, are you aware of the work of Charles Reed? Did you ever paint in his style? Are you aware of modern watercolors that paint in this style? So I am very familiar with Charles Reed's work. I think it's beautiful. I love his expressiveness with the color. It's just genius. There is an artist here in Israel that studied directly from him and paints kind of a similar style. Um, and I don't remember his name, so my apologies about that. Um, if I know of a modern watercolorist that paints in this style, that's a great question, Bart. And if I find an answer to that, I'll try letting you know. Read Charles. I'm not familiar with too many artists that do that. Charles style. It's so unique, that I'll have to let me Google just to make sure. I totally remember what his work looks like, but sometimes you remember things, and then when you look at it, yeah, that's exactly it. I'm not really familiar with anyone that paints like that. I love it. I love his paintings of musicians, especially, are so good. No, I don't. I should try painting more like this. It's really fun. But his work is awesome. Let's see here. Oliver first. I've been struggling with edges lately, soft hard, mostly just remembering to be more conscious of them. Yeah, we will discuss a lot of it on the course because it's really important. Not sure what that means, but thank you, Lily. Feel free to elaborate on Vogue feel. Moran, yes, for example, dark, hard shadows on house fronts with different. Oh, nice. Okay, got it. To define where those shadows go. Okay, so the actual shape of the shadow as well. Good. Edges, shadows, their shapes. Yeah, I can definitely talk more about that. Define where dark, hard shadows on house fronts with different ledges, edges, window frame, depth. Yeah, that's interesting. So if you have a specific example, feel free to email it to me. I'm actually curious to see, but I know what you mean. I'll try incorporating more of that. To James's point on paint to water ratio, always struggled. Steve Mitchell has had a very good video just demoing adding and removing water from the brush, a practical mechanic. Yeah, often out of shot. Definitely. And I'm guilty of that too, of doing a lot of like mixing and dipping and, all in the water and wiping the brush on my paper towels off camera. Should definitely improve that kind of a thing. And sometimes you'll be surprised at just how much you have to squeeze the water out to achieve different results. Like if you really want to lift, you have to completely soak the water out of it. Drain the water with a paper towel or something like this. Well, I'm way behind on comments. My apologies. Alex T.S. Hi, Liron. May I send a link for a quick painting I made? Get maybe a bit of feedback, or is it not something you do? Yeah, definitely. So connecting it to my previous point, Maren sent me an email. You can find my email on the channel. So just to let me know what was the specific shadows. And Alex is the same thing. Feel free to. I just kind of answer these whenever I have time. So it may take time, but I try to get back to everyone. And just nudge me and bug me until I answer if I miss it. But yeah. Arav Verma, some art challenge. It would be fun and super inspiring how an artist thinks and where he makes mistakes. Yeah, cool. We can do that. Art challenges. And then I can show all of your works and do a fun kind of consolidated thing. And the challenge can be personalized, like choose a subject you like, paint that maybe for a week or something like that, and then I can show my own and yours. Could be fun. Rucha says figure drawing. Yeah, I can do more of that for sure. I'd be happy to, because I'm really learning a lot about it. Figure drawing. I'm learning a lot about figure drawing and anatomy, stuff like that. Anthony Couch. Hi, Liron. If you could have any superpower, what would you choose? I think for me it would be flying. That just looks so fun, and I don't have too terrible of a fear of heights. And if I can fly, I mean, what's to fear? I'd love to do that. To just fly around the city, sit down on top of a building. That would be my superpower of choice for sure. Flying. You know, when I was a kid, I used to have a lot of dreams of me levitating. Not levitating standing up. It was so weird. I would run and jump forward and then fly, kind of like Superman, but close to the ground, just like this, like levitate forward. I would never be able to go up too high, but I'll just go like this. And sometimes I'll lose steam and then I'll fall and I'll have to jump, run, jump, and do it again. So funny. Virendra, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Great going. Thank you so much. It's been a while. Thank you so much for being here. Daiji, my friend. Hi, Liron. I'm not feeling great mentally, emotionally. I'm not sure if it's because I haven't done anything creative lately as a creative artist. Do you feel that way? If yes, how do you deal with it? Yeah, definitely. So you really answered your question within the question. I get it. So sometimes I'll have really hard days. I just don't share these things, but I'm not above any of that. I'll have really hard days where I'm, feeling very down, or maybe even like angry. I find that that's where I go. Like I'm angry at nothing in particular. It's just anger at the situation of things. If I feel like I'm not getting to where I want to be, or I'm not succeeding in something that I'm trying, I have a tendency very easily to fall into a victim mindset of like it's the world's fault or someone else's fault. I can do that sometimes. When I'm in my best higher self, I definitely know that most things are within my control, and if I don't like something, I have the power to change it. And there really isn't no one else to blame, because like no one did anything on purpose, at least not recently. When you were a kid, maybe, definitely, but now when I'm independent and my life is really good, I'm not dependent on anyone. It's really just, it's here. Now, the fact that it's here doesn't mean it's not real. It's totally real. But it is something that I know is within my control. So the solution to your problem, you say, I'm not sure if it's because I haven't done anything creative lately. There is a high chance that it is because of that. And I go through sometimes days I get really cranky. I feel like I'm, not able to finish my work or get even close to finishing my work. And it really bugs me. And I feel really mad at myself, or whatever. And then I realized I haven't painted for 3 days. I haven't drawn in 2 days or 3 days. And I'm like, oh, that's why I feel like that. And then I just start sketching. I paint. I look at the paint, try to be immersed in the process, and it actually works. So hear me out, my friend. I have that. Of course, I won't pretend to know what you're going through, because everyone goes through different things. I think it's impossible to really put, emotional challenges on a scale and to say this person is having a hard time and that person is just a useless discussion. So I won't assume, but I definitely have days where it's rough. Yeah, I feel really out of it, really detached from my authentic self, if that makes sense. Because I had, for example, which day was it? So I had a really good start of the week. I don't remember if it was starting Sunday or Monday. I had a really good, like, I knew what I was doing. I felt very productive. I felt very happy, very much in my zone. And then in the last 2 days, like yesterday and today, it's like I feel more detached from my authentic self. So it comes out in everything, in how I paint, and the things I'm doing, the things I'm not able to finish. It's this kind of a detachment where deep down you always know what you need to do. I really believe that. The problem is that our lives are built in a way that distances us from it, and the things that are not as important become important, not rightfully, and we lose track very easily of what is important. For example, when I started this YouTube channel, my goal was to market my business and myself as an artist, to sell more products, and to automate a lot of my work. To automate, to make content that is always accessible to people, so that I decouple or separate my income from time. Meaning I make money while I'm asleep. Now that doesn't mean I'm not working really, really hard, but it does mean I don't get paid by the hour necessarily. I put in a lot of work, put in a burst of work, and then I can take a bit of a break. With time, the higher goal of marketing and promoting myself as an artist by the means of making YouTube videos, the YouTube videos became the goal. And then it has to be a video a week, 3 videos a week, no matter what. When you turn something that isn't really your goal into your goal, that's a problem long term, because you just won't be happy. So if you put a goal, I'm going to paint 3 times a week, and you start, and it's so fun and refreshing because you're painting, you're enjoying yourself, but then you get a busy week and you just kind of do it fast. You don't enjoy it, but you do it because you have to. And with time, you can build this dangerous habit of doing it because you have to, not because you want to, not from an authentic place. And you forget that you just wanted to paint, you know and then the means to the goal become the goal itself. That's not good. And that I'm giving this long tangent to show you how that happens to me a lot. Things that I set as goals, the high level goals, and that goal doesn't have to be something materialistic. It can be being happy, being having free time to do what I want by decoupling my time from my income. That thing, the means to achieve that goal, becomes the goal in and of itself. And that's not a way to be happy. And I'm very aware of it. And I'm trying to reconstruct what I'm doing to be happier. And that, I don't know if you can relate to that. Let me know. I'm answering in depth because it's something I don't communicate on the channel, because usually it's irrelevant, because I really want to teach people art and drawing and painting. But whenever I feel like it is an important topic, and I may do that too, do a video on it, don't get the wrong impression that I don't go through these things. And I think the answer is always inside, and you seem to have answered it. Maybe it's because you haven't done anything creative lately. I would definitely give it a try. You may find that it will make you so much happier. And that's real. That feeling is real. So let me know. It's been a huge kind of tangent, but let me know if you find that kind of a thing helpful. And feel free to drop an email or a message, and I'll see if I can answer in more detail if you give me a more detailed description. But it's all about that, I think. Just find the thing that you really want to do. It inside. It's just external voices and circumstances that detach you from it. Things you have to do, people you have to please, all of that. Some things you really have to do, like you really have to go to work to make money, and that takes away from painting time. But the suffering, in my experience, does not come from the fact you have to work. It's how you think about that kind of a thing. It's not the fact that you have to go to work. And I'm just giving an example, right? I have no idea what's your specific situation. I'm just saying, a lot of people, it's not that you suffer because of the work necessarily. It's because of internally you make that like that's the reason I can't do whatever I want, where you can carve out maybe 20-30 minutes to paint. So the suffering is not because of the thing, it's how you interpret the thing. At least that's in my experience. Everyone's different. John says, Liron, what's your favorite season, and what's your favorite season to paint? So for me, favorite season to paint, I have to go with summer or spring, because I do like a lot of sunlight. And winter, while I enjoy watching winter scenes so much, like paintings, like Paul Talbot Greaves' work, I love that. The winter scenes. I recently discovered an artist on Instagram who's spectacular, who does a lot of those kinds of scenes, like kind of Western European snow night scenes, who's incredible. I will share more of that work. I really appreciate those because it's so different from what I do. But my favorite to paint would have to be summer or spring, something that has strong sunlight. So that's my favorite season to paint. Now, favorite season in general, I would say spring or even autumn. Anything in the middle, because winter can get too cold and then I don't like it. Summer here is a nightmare. I sweat while I'm in bed in the morning doing nothing. I just sweat. I hate that. So summer is rough. You know, when I was in the army, that's so funny. I barely talk about that time, but I did my boot camp like really in the southern south, and it was a nightmare. You'd wake up, all your back is sticky. Like you take one step and you're sweating buckets, and it wasn't even that hot. You were just the humidity was a nightmare. So I don't like that at all. So yeah. Autumn or spring. AK, hey artist, please tell me what's career opportunities in drawing, because I learned drawing sketching with you. So please tell me career and grow tips. Yeah, so that will vastly change depending on what you want to do. So career in art, um, it's very complex, and there are a lot of, like, by definition, it's more of an entrepreneurship endeavor, because you have to find your own way through this kind of a world. I will ask you, what do you like to do? Do you like to just draw for fun, look at something and draw it? uh, are you attracted to like the fine art scene where you actually want to put things in galleries? Are you more of, do you like to create characters and do concepts, and then you can work for a studio? Maybe you like sketching and drawing, but you also really like 3D, and then you can do 3D design. There is so much to so many areas to move into, that it would really depend on what you want to do. You can become a teacher. You can do so much. um, that's the beauty of an art career. The question is really, what do you want? So I really enjoy teaching and sharing my insights, and I'm super lucky to be alive wherein there is internet and I can do that in this scale and this easily, honestly. So yeah. My stomach is making funny noises. Astik Das, my watercolor is improving these days, but my figure drawing is not good. Should I work on my drawing first? Um, let's see. So if it's, and I felt that way, if you feel like it's to the point where it hurts your watercolors and you really want to develop your watercolors, definitely work on drawing, not first, but simultaneously. Just split it. Do maybe, let's say, 80% painting, 20% drawing, or find your ratio 50-50, whatever works for you. Maybe you put painting on the back burner, paint 20% of the time, draw 80% of the time. I think a short dip in drawing will really improve your paintings, if you're, depending on your level in drawing, of course, but generally speaking. So why not do that? You can always continue painting, and you'll always have painting to go back to. You can take a quick break, come back, that's fine. Kelly, hello from Lauderdale by the Sea, Florida. Cool, thank you for being here. AK, real time, my situation is sketch time 5 to 6 hours. So do you sketch like 5 to 6 hours every day, every week? Let me know, I'm curious. Tom, 40s, before I say goodbye. Oh my, I'm 41, painting for 8 months, and I'm not even thinking about saying goodbye until they drag me out of here. Yeah, definitely. That's young. Tambor artwork. Liron, your sheer determination to reach your goals is your superpower. You refuse to give up. Yeah, definitely. Can't give up. Delia, thank you so much for being here. How many courses do you have in total? I purchased the drawing and shading courses and a landscape watercolor on Udemy, and want to clarify if the frustration-free watercolor course is different. Yeah, frustration-free watercolor is more about how to let go and really enjoy the painting process. It's not a specific subject. It's more about the general approach in technique. There's a lot of techniques in it. There's a lot of different subjects in it. It's really fun, and it is different. So now is actually a good opportunity to pick it up if you haven't. Sometimes people buy it and they're like, "Oops, I already bought it," and then I refund them. Don't worry, I'm on it. If I'll find that someone bought twice and you tell me, I'll definitely. It's funny because that happened a few times recently in the last 6 months. That happened quite a bit. Oh, I just got a comment from Steve from the Mind of Watercolor. Nicely done about the realistic scene. That's fun. Thank you so much. Real time, live. I don't know how many courses do I have in total. I have 3 drawing courses on my own platform, 1 painting course, and then like 7 or 5 courses on Udemy. So that makes up about, I don't know, 10, 12, 14 courses, something like that. I will say that the frustration-free watercolor course is the core. So that's like the value of this YouTube channel consolidated into about 4-hour course, 26 lessons, if I'm not mistaken. And that's the thing. That's my best course so far. So definitely check that out. I do have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you don't like it, I'll refund. I don't ask any questions. Any tips improving sketching speed? Ooh, speed. You know what? I don't know if I want you to improve your sketching speed. I think one way to go is really loosen up and kind of do, all over, connect the lines. That's a technique I can actually show. Improve sketching speed. I'll do a video on that. Sketching speed. But that's usually it. Sometimes, because I don't want people to use speed as kind of an escape from being accurate. Sometimes I do that with watercolor. I'm like, oh, I'll just wing this detail there. And it's kind of an escape from putting a bit more hard work into seeing what's there. Of course, I'm not saying that's you, but I'll do a video on it. I think that's a topic that warrants a full video. Suzala, I started at 57. Yeah, that's young. You still have like a couple of decades of fun and painting. The age doesn't matter. Laura T, sometimes I forget you're bilingual. That phone call was really cool. I'm a language nerd. Yeah, hopefully I'll be trilingual soon because I'm really studying Japanese hard with a teacher. Oh, I missed. So yeah, there's a lot of comments about that. What language was that? That was Hebrew. But yeah, I study Japanese right now, so hopefully I can learn how to talk really well. Nihongo hanashimasu. I don't know. I don't even know. Like the problem is I don't know what to say. I know how to say things. I know how to translate some things, but I don't know what to say if I want to. Like I don't have sentences ready to go, other than the usual ohayo gozaimasu and all of that. But yeah, I really want to learn Japanese. I can read pretty well. I just don't understand everything. So yeah, Arav, that was Hebrew. Garima says, have you explored digital painting? What would you prefer, digital or traditional? I have explored it. It's great fun. I personally am so accustomed to traditional that I will. The advantage of digital to me was, at least when I did the manga, so the inking was really easy because it really mimics the pen well, and you can do Control Z endlessly and get the perfect line. The problem was, for me, when you're looking at a page like this, you can zoom in just by staring at it up close. When you're working on a tablet or something, you have to pinch and zoom in, and then you don't see anything around it. You have no context for the line you're putting. Is it too wide? Is it too thin? Is the variation off? What's the overall look? I don't like that kind of a thing. So ultimately, it is traditional for me, for sure. I have tried it though, and it's great fun. Aniruddha Gupta, weighing on the age conversation. A decade of painting is one way to look at things, but it's also important to consider the number of hours you put in. Yeah, for sure. So I did that with the assumption that you put in a decent time. So I don't know, a couple of times a week for an hour or two. That's something nice if you're just for hobby and fun. But of course, yeah, you can achieve so much in a year if you put in the time, right? But given the context, I would say, like, if you are willing to sit down and paint as much as possible, that's a long time. A decade, even if you're dabbling, a decade is a long time in my opinion. So yeah, I don't know what Vartech means. Sorry, Marlene. Arav, are you aware of Kellogg's Loop's works? He's actually my artist crush. He's just amazing. Yeah, I'm aware. He does all of these. I love his style. It's a very modern kind of style that works really well. It attracts a lot of attention. I like that. With all the lips with the poppy colors on them. That's really cool. I like his work. Is it his or hers? I'm not even sure. Chen Sun Chu. Sorry if I'm butchering that name. Hello from Taiwan. Thank you so much for being here, my friend. Much appreciated. AK, I want to make my future in sketching. Please tips. And I'm doing sketching 1 year. Really improve less sketches. Cool. So if you're improving, that's the most important thing. Hopefully my previous thing helped. just got to put in the pencil time, sketch as much as you can. One thing I will say that I think helped me from a very young age is I'm very perceptive of visual things. Like I'm looking at things. Ever since I was a kid, I remember that I would look at things and wonder why they appear. They look at this the way they do. Very early on, I realized that if I put my thumb in front of my eye, my thumb, and I know it sounds obvious, but that's like when you're 6, that's a pretty big insight. If I put my thumb in front of my eye, people are the size of the thumb. So how come the thumb is so big? And I'm like, oh, okay, then you learn about perspective, things that are closer, things that are farther. Then I started asking myself, like, why is my Rubik's Cube like that? Like, why do I see? That's a weird question. Like, why do you see 3 sides of the Rubik's Cube? Can you answer that? Why? That's a philosophical question, I get. I don't know. There's probably a scientific explanation. But like, why do you see 3 sides? I don't know. But then I was like, okay, so if I rotate it this way, I only see 2 sides. If I rotate it this way, I see 3 sides. If I rotate it like this, I see more of this side, less of that side. That's thoughts like that when you're 10 years old is pretty complex, you know? So I was always wondering about these things. And that's where the ability to draw them, even if you're not as skilled in the actual technique, comes from, you know? So if I could give you like one quick tip, that would be it. Pay attention, look at things around you, always observe them, and ask yourself, what is this? What does this look like? What kind of optical illusions am I falling into when I look at this? Does it look like, for example, how tight or wide is this oval? That's like, you look at it and you know that's a circle. If I hold it more like this, it will spill over. But if I hold it really, if I tilt it, it's going to be a perfect circle. But right now it's an oval. Can you see it as an oval, or do you see it as a circle? You know, all of these things. You know how kids draw cans, like, I'll show you. That's so common, to draw a can like this. And you're like, yeah, you got the top part right, but why is the bottom a straight line? Because you know that it's flat, so you draw it like that. You put a lot of thought to this side, not enough to that side. It's very easy to flatten it out. All of these weird thoughts when you're like 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. By the time I was 15, I was really like understanding these kinds of things without even drawing that much. I didn't draw a lot back then. I wish I had more. I wish I'd spent all my time in school doodling in my sketchbook, seriously. John, agreed. Kellogg's Loops is so good. He's like a modern Gustav Klimt. Yeah, he's really good. Laura T, I've experienced the same thing with my mental health. I struggle with anxiety and depression, and when I'm depressed, I tend to stay away from my art, but drawing actually helps lift me. I just forget. So that's very interesting. I wonder, because I won't say depression, but my low times in terms of mental health, I think I did hit something in the past, or a few times in the past, that could verge on depression. I think I did, but I'm not going to self-diagnose. Who cares? I mean, it's irrelevant now, but it never made me. Do I have a hair in my? It never made me not paint. I was never in the position of feeling uninspired because of a mental thing. The mental thing, if anything, made me not want to work, not want to just do the business part. But never did it move me away from creation. So it's interesting that maybe some people get that, And then I just remember, oh, I have this thing that I really enjoy doing, and then I do it, and then it's so awesome, So I wonder if some people are taken away from their craft by that kind of a mental struggle, because I don't have that. Honestly, I never had that so far. Pratik says, great advice and say to Daiji, Liron means to the goal. Yeah, that's like when the means to the goal becomes the goal. That's not a good place to be in. Thank you. I really, really appreciate your insight. Thank you. It is helpful. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's my pleasure. I really appreciate you sharing that. That's really brave. So thank you. Thank you so much. Watercolor homie. It's such an awesome username. Mic check. Watching you with my son Max in the car heading to school. Hello from Los Angeles, California. Thank you so much. That's so cool. That is so cool. Just drive safe, and hope you have an awesome day, and hope Max enjoys school. Laura says, what what are you drinking? If you don't mind saying, I got here late and I'm nosy. Yeah. So that's the thing. Last time I told you there's a delivery, a coffee is gonna get here. So it wasn't like a coffee delivery; it was a grocery delivery. We have this service here called Deli, Deli. You just order it; it's here within 20-25 minutes. Super quick, great customer service, great delivery. Girls and guys, they're so like cool. They're always nice. Unlike other uh, bigger brands, which I won't name any names, but just so you know, that's why most of my money spent on groceries has moved from some of these brands to stuff like that. So it's just an app, you order stuff, and this is one of the things I order to really spoil myself. I don't drink a lot of that. It's so stupid to say that I spoil myself with this lame thing, but I mean it's full of sugar basically, and so I usually the way we drink our coffee here, it's like an espresso, and then it's very different from American coffee, I think, or European even, or maybe it's like European espresso and then milk. We have an espresso machine. It's a pretty fancy machine that grinds the coffee beans. Um, it was a great investment. And we're using almond milk. Get this, sugarless, not low on sugar, not no added sugar, no sugar. So it tastes like an almond liquid. I don't even know how else to define it. So this to me is a huge buzz. It's like sweet as hell. So that's me being spoiled. Master Cafe, not sponsored. The tiramisu taste is nice. I like it the most. This here says high quantities of sugar. There was a law passed that they have to say that about saturated fat, about salt, about sugar. So now you see this on all the tastiest products. So yeah, no, I'm happy to share. White Reza, I find painting snow can be either fairly easy or very challenging, depending on the subject focus you want to put. Yeah, because the snow can just be the paper white. That's so fun. Joseph Z has an amazing demo where he paints this. I forgot where it was. It was a part of an interview. Maybe he did it with, I forgot his name. I don't remember. But he did like a boat scene, Venice. It was a snowy village. Then he turned it into a boat scene. Then he turned it into a cityscape. And it started with a snowy scene, and you define the shapes of snow just by a few shadows. It's so fun. It can be very easy. So yeah. Banani, how are you? I love your profile pic. That is so cool. I'm curious, did you make it or did someone else make it for you? That looks so good. Hi, Liron. Thank you for being that open about hard times. I recognize so much of what you are trying to explain. In this very moody day, you bring a sparkle of hope and light. So thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, a lot of my triggers are when I feel like I'm losing my freedom. So in a way of like my top goal in life is to always be financially and time wise free. So financial freedom doesn't mean I'm super rich necessarily. It just means that I have money to buy the things I want, which are never really too fancy, except for Pokemon cards where I go too far. But other than that, I don't like most things that are more mainstream. I guess cars, watches. I don't know if that's a thing anymore. I don't care about any of these things. So shoes, same thing. I don't care about that. So whenever I feel like I'm losing my freedom in time, which is again a big part of why I decided to start a business and separate my time from my income, get that passive thing going so that I can work really hard and then rest a bit. Anything, and sorry for the ambulance, anything that when I feel like that freedom is taken away from me, that's the trigger sometimes, very often. So for example, if there's just a lot of chores around the house and I can't get to work, then I'll feel so bad. I'm like, I don't have the freedom of time. I want to just sit down and work for hours. Now, the reality usually is not as bad. It's not the thing, it's how you interpret the thing. The reality isn't as bad, and I do put in the time. And when I look back, I'm like, oh, I was super productive actually, but it still feels like time is slipping away and it's not under my control. But it's all about how you frame it, because it can be under your control. It's just those things you're doing that are not the thing you want to do, or just a part of the schedule. It's a thing that needs to happen, So a lot of it is the perspective of how you look at things. But just throwing it out there, that the trigger for me very often is that the feeling I'm losing my freedom and time. And thank God, like, financial freedom doesn't feel like I lost it yet. Maybe it will happen in the future, but for now I'm good. I am definitely not rich, but I have enough, So yeah. DG Draws, hi Liron, thanks for doing this. What advice do you have for self-motivating in regards to learning to paint? I find it challenging to stick to goals, especially when life and 9-to-5 jobs get in the way. Yeah, that's a good question. And depending on when you'll ask me it, I'll have tons of different answers. Right now, what comes to mind is schedule. Open if you have a Google Calendar or whatever it is, make a decision in advance. That's going to be the time where I'll paint, and just schedule it in. And if you have to, sync it with someone else's schedule, do that, but know that this is time you can spend painting. And I don't care if it's 30 minutes. That's great. 9-to-5, all of that. That's super tiring. I get it. Sometimes the solution is to work around the schedule effectively. So if you feel super drained after work, maybe schedule painting before work. Now, I know that may sound impractical, but even if you get started really early, you can always, I guess, wake up an hour earlier so that you can paint and do whatever else you have to do and go to work. So like paint, I don't know if like it's getting kids ready to school or doing whatever morning routine you have or stuff like that, and then paint and go to work. So everyone's situation is different, of course. I don't know yours, but I think there is something to like. So one thing I found, how should I phrase it? It's like sometimes you want something, but you kind of it could be nice to get more time to paint. So if you're in a place where you tell yourself, well, man, it could be cool if I had more time to paint, you're not going to paint. If you truly make a decision to paint, you truly make it like your religion, it will happen. Now, the question is, how do you make it your religion? Different people are different in that regard. To me, if it's in the schedule, I know I'll do it. You may be the same, you may be different. But even just getting over the logistical, like I would say, what's preventing you from doing it? Like, is there something very real life, practical, like, things you have to do around the house, or life and 9-to-5, So if you can schedule it out in a way that will work with the rest of life, that will be great. So to me, when I hear life and 9-to-5 job, a part of life is just, staring at the TV in the evening, which is a valid part of life. My question is, can you take 30 minutes off of that and devote it to painting? Now, I don't know. That may not be your situation again. You may come back from work at home, and immediately go to bed. I would challenge myself to carve out 30 minutes a day, schedule them in so that you know that it works for you, it works for the people around you, and just do that. Some people find it, like, sometimes people tell me I find it challenging to stick to a goal, but then I find out they haven't never written the goal. They don't have it somewhere tangibly. Like, to me, if I don't write it, it doesn't happen. If I don't write my goals, and I use Trello, Trello. It's a great place to write, goals, tasks, kind of ideas. I use it for everything: lists, checklists, notes, whatever it is. Sometimes people just don't do these things, and it sounds super obvious, but you still don't do it. There are plenty of things that are obvious that I don't do, and I need to work on. But that's one thing I do. Write it down, make it tangible, make it specific. If you just tell yourself, I'm going to paint more this month, it ain't going to happen. You need to be very specific. So that'll be, I'm going to paint 5 times this month. I'm going to paint once a week, so 4 times this month. And then you schedule it, you write it down, you make it happen. I would take it one step further. Tell yourself what you're going to paint. Are you going to paint from a photo? Are you going to practice a technique regardless of photo? Be specific if you can. I schedule anatomy sessions. I schedule practice and exercise time. I schedule time for working on more meaningful paintings, like this one and the gas cans. I was like, I need to devote time for meaningful paintings, not just time for doodling or painting real fast or, popping out another one of these cars, something that is significant. So I hope that helps. Different people have different triggers that help, like positive triggers, that make you do stuff. Find yours and let me know if you have a follow-up. Maybe, hopefully that helps. White Reza, what would you say are the most important in your works among the 5 watercolor skills? Composition, figuration, sketching and texture, color harmony, luminosity, dynamism. So here's the thing. I don't feel like I'm skilled enough in composition, so I will say my compositions are lacking. As an overall piece, sometimes my focal points are competing, one isn't strong enough, the colors don't work well with the focal point, all sorts of things like that. Sketching, I think I'm pretty good at. Textures, not so much. Color harmony, I'm kind of okay. Luminosity is where maybe I'm good, if you're talking about light and shadow. If it's like how saturated a color is, I'm not that good. Dynamism, kind of. So I would have to go with figuration, I guess, and maybe a bit of color harmony, but honestly, I'm lacking in all of these. My answer would be light and shadow. I don't know if that helps. So yeah, sorry. It's the first time I'm seeing it broken down into these skills, and I actually like it. That's cool. Delia, that sounds great. Thank you. I looked it up and noticed there are 2 more. How to simplify watercolor part 1 and 2. Yeah. So if what I told you about the frustration-free watercolor course speaks to you, that's very different. But the frustration-free watercolor course is very, I think it's more wholesome in a way. The How to Simplify is actually the one I uploaded here on YouTube. You can find a playlist on my channel, How to Simplify Watercolor, and watch it here if you want to. But the frustration-free one is the main one. Now, we do have to say to everyone here, Delia, I'm super appreciative of you because you got so many of my paintings that I'm super grateful. That's one thing that I set as a goal, to find more homes for my paintings and sell more. And I know I may be priced out for a lot of people, so I always apologize for that and try to once in a while do a painting that's very small and then I can sell it for cheaper. But I'm super grateful. That means a lot to me. So thank you so much, Delia. Henny, how are you doing? It's been a while. I hope you're doing well. Lulu Natic, hi Liron. I never understood what you said at the beginning of every video. Like, what's up, Liron here? That's my name, Liron. Sorry, I pronounced it maybe funny. Liron here. Thank you for joining me in another video. Of course I am. Hi, Liron. Hope you're well. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm doing really well. How are you, my friend? Hope everything is going well for you. Pablo Fernandez, if you could only use one brush for the rest of your life, what would it be? I think I'm tempted to say it's the big goat hair, large goat hair by Lebenzon brushes. It's so versatile. You get this tiny tip that works really well, or you can get thick washes. It has good water capacity. It's soft, but not too soft. It has excellent grip that is very ergonomic, which is important if you're going to use one brush for the rest of your life. That's my brush of choice. It's always here. So yeah, Tracy did really good on that. And you can find it Lebenzon brushes. I think maybe I have like a... No, I don't have a banner, but Lebenzon brushes, search Google, you'll find it. He's really good. White Rez, I believe that to be good at something, be it video game, chess, sports, instrument, graphic, requires generally about 1,000-hour training. Yeah, that's a question of how do you define good also, It's more of a philosophical question, yeah. But it definitely takes some time, some amount of time. I actually believe you can improve much faster, and that's a self-imposed limit of like, I need to put this amount of time in, because I've seen people improve their skills so fast in a way that will surprise you. So don't let that be like a limiting belief. You have to put in this X amount of time. But of course, there is merit to it. Definitely. Shaina Chopra, or Sheena Chopra. Sorry, when did you start painting? Like at what age? Actually, I've been drawing ever since I was like 5 or 6, but painting around when I was 24. So that's about 7 years ago, I guess. Yep, that's when I started painting. Not that long ago, actually. But wow, it's crazy. It's going to be a decade soon, like 3 more years. And it's going to be a decade of watercolor. That's insane. It's already more than a decade of drawing, so that's fun. But let's say intense drawing, serious drawing, maybe 8, 9 years. Tom, what is that tiny drink which is so less? Yeah, I take small sips. I go like this. I think we're gonna move towards wrapping up the live stream soon, and then I'll have to just go with one shot. But yeah, I'm drinking it super slowly. Melanie Turcott, hey Liron, I'm back to watercolor after several years, during which I've been painting in acrylics and oil. I'm simply curious to know why you chose watercolor as your main medium. Yeah, honestly, I just saw. So I got into watercolor, which is a story I tell from time to time. The way I got into watercolor was I started with sketching and drawing, and then I discovered urban sketching and the urban sketching movement, which is super cool. I love that. You go outside, you look at a view, and then you sketch it with a pen directly or with pen and pencil. It's so much fun. And then I started seeing people who use watercolor for their urban sketches, and I was like, whoa, mind blown. You can do that. Mark Taro Holmes is a good example of that. And then I started diving deeper into watercolor, and I found out Joseph's Bookfitch. And I was like, whoa, that looks so good. A lot of people say they had a similar experience. Alvaro Castanet, that's insane. I really like that style. That's what I want to do. And then I got started. And then the more I did it, the more I discovered the advantages. It's faster. It's a fun technique that I enjoy. I really don't enjoy mixing for a long time and then applying. Mixing, applying, mixing, applying, then blending. I don't like that. I like the speed. It was just a happy accident. I did not know how well I would mesh with watercolor when I got started, but I did. It just worked super well for me. Super lucky to have had that experience. That's how it happened. Alessandro, hi there on. Just to say hi, and that I came back to drawing and painting after months. Glad for that, but at the same time sad to have these big ups and downs. Yeah, I get it. Sometimes judging your ups and downs is worse than the actual ups and downs. So just keep going. You got back to it. That's the most important thing. And your work is really good. So keep at it. There is a lot to develop there. That I see a lot of potential, Yeah. Keep it up. I see it's a common thing at least. Yeah, definitely. Anita Daniel, hi Liron. Which one will you choose? Explaining your art or letting people have their own interpretation of your art? By the way, greetings from Indonesia. Thank you so much. It's very interesting. I love explaining my art, but if I imagine myself in a situation where like I'm in a fancy gallery and all of my paintings are around, I love for people to kind of project whatever they want on it. What is this element within the painting? I don't know. What does it look like to you? I love that thing. I don't care. I don't feel any need to explain. I actually would prefer probably people just think whatever they want. What kind of mood did I try to convey? Is it a sad painting or is it a happy painting? Whatever you see, Yeah, I love that idea. So yeah. Oh, almost caught up with. Oh no, not caught up with the chat. I have a few questions for Instagram. I'll have to get to. So let's do this. We can do it. Samuel Varghese or Varghese. Let me know if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. Hi Liron, how can I improve in my proportions fast other than repeated practice? Just wanted some tips, not avoiding hard work. So proportions. I'd say measuring. Just if you're not measuring, start measuring. Use the pencil. Find, go like this. How many pencils can I fit in this screen? Is it one? Is it maybe two? And use that, use the pencil to measure stuff out. One thing that I find very helpful is what's called plumb lines. I learned that from Stan Prokopenko, who has a great YouTube channel called Proko. What you do is, if you're trying to figure out where a spot is, try and drop horizontal and vertical lines and see what it meets. So let's say you're like, okay, I drew a couple of lines and I want to check myself. So what you see is you ask yourself, what does this intersect with vertically or horizontally? And try and find an element that it intersects with and see if you were accurate. You look at your own thing. So let's say you have this kind of a shape and you look at this edge of the shape and you ask yourself, what does it intersect with? Like 1/3 this length of the top of the cup? Is it a half? Is it closer to just the edge here? And go like this, go like that, and try and find it. Then after you find it, you're like, oh, the intersection is correct. Then look at the distance between them and ask yourself, what can I compare this distance to and see if I'm accurate? You see what I mean? You just keep finding reference points to compare to. But the big idea for me is those plumb lines were a huge breakthrough. because you look at the line, you kind of get it, eyeball it, and then you try and test yourself using that kind of a thing. It really is helpful. One other general tip is ghosting. Before you put in the line, do the motion in the air above paper a few times, and you're more likely to get the line to be accurate. That's not in terms of measuring, but in terms of actually execution of the line. I hope that helps. Alessandro, what I can say is that when I have my up moments, I could draw and paint anything. During my downs, nothing so bad. Yeah, it looks like a common theme. I wonder about that. Like, do people actually distance themselves actively from art because of being in a bad mental place, or whatever, or if it's not a mental place, just down? Banani, I made the profile pic myself with Copics. Oh, that's awesome. So yeah, I asked it. I don't remember if you answered. Now I'll remember. That is so cool. I love that. That's Copics, actually. Wow, that's nice. That's really cool. Now I'll remember. Sorry, hopefully in a year I'm not like, oh, that's such a cool profile pic. I hope I'm not losing my memory slowly with age. So yeah. Munira, sir, I love your paintings a lot. How many paintings should I do if I would like to be like you? I would say as many as you can, but you want to also make sure that you're not just going through the motions. I think being immersed in the process is almost as important as how many times you go through the process. So it's a matter of quantity, but also quality is what I would say. There isn't like a specific number though. So let me take a few questions from IG just to make sure that I address them, and then we'll continue with the chat. Don't worry, I got you, chat. I got you before it disappears on me. So yeah, top 3 favorite activities when not doing watercolor or drawing. That's asked by Brad. Playing with Ruth is huge. Okay, so let's actually try and be serious. Top 3 favorite activities when not doing watercolor. That 3 is a lot, but I would say reading manga. So I have here Akira, which I'm reading right now. That's like super awesome. I love that. I would say that. Of course, spending time with May, and so the third one, like maybe sorting my Pokemon cards, putting them in albums, opening up cards. Like if you talk about hobbies, then that'll be it. But if you talk about like generally things I enjoy, that will be spending time with May and with Ruth, of course, going to the park and throwing her toy, and then she runs and gets it. That'll be like a top 3 for sure. That's not related to watercolor drawing. Self-made art, actually quite a lot of questions, so we'll go through them. Where do you find reference photos that you can't take yourself? Example, wild animals. Pixabay, that's my website of choice. Pix, Pixabay. Self-made art, what do you do with any unsold paintings, if you had any? So I have tons of unsold paintings right here behind me. So just letting you know, I don't sell most of my paintings because I paint a lot. A lot of it goes just to the drawer or whatever. I just keep them here in stacks. And I don't think I'll never do something that will reduce their value in the market. So I'm going to drip them into the market. I'm not going to put everything for low prices. I hope that makes sense. By the way, know that if you buy my paintings, and Delia, thank you so much once again for doing that, I do plan for their value to go up with time. So I'll always the new paintings I put will always be more expensive. So if you're interested in the secondary painting market, which is thriving, I think, just know that it's hopefully a good investment. Which are your top 4 brushes? I would just say 2. I like the Escoda Barocco 16 and this goat one that I just mentioned. Lebenzon brushes. What's your favorite palette? Just a generic metal palette like this one. I also really like the Mijello 18 well airtight palette. That's a really good one for studio. The color of light. How important is it to have one distinct style as a working artist? Is having multiples okay? Yes, having multiples is okay. Have as many painting styles as you want. That's my thoughts on it. Like, you can have 3-4 branches of styles that you enjoy painting and drawing and whatever it is. It could be different mediums. I'm all for it. So good, I'm happy. I feel like we addressed the Instagram questions. Let's go back here. Daiji, thought I'd share in case it's helpful to others. It definitely is. My boss is very understanding when I say I'm feeling anxious, etc. Lets me take a 30-minute break to draw and get myself back on track. That is awesome. That's a keeper boss for sure. That's great. I'm happy to hear. the fulfilling feeling of creating something did help me through my day. That's awesome. I would say it's so weird because we know what brings us joy and happiness, and somehow we forget, So I would like to, or we forget, or we're too busy to do that. But very often I'll find myself having time to do something and not doing it enough. So like spend as much time as possible drawing and painting and what brings you joy. I think that's really important, White Reza, yes, anticipating the next session is good advice to get started quickly. When I write, I sometimes purposely stop in the middle of a sentence. Oh, nice. To me, I'm like the reverse. So right now I'm writing. So the watercolor realism course, some lessons are going to be scripted. So it's really airtight. So I'm going to do a long demo where it's scripted. So I squeeze like an hour and a half painting into 20 minutes. And every sentence there is scripted and written, and then I narrate it. And I'll also do a version that's more like what I do on YouTube. Full video, start to finish, an hour and a half, an hour, however long it is, 45 minutes, and just kind of more casual narration. I have to feel like I finished a paragraph or a sentence, because I don't want to go back to, I want to know I close it off for the day before I stop for the day. So I'm like the opposite. I'm like, I'm going to finish the sentence. I just got to finish this point, and then I feel good that I can, continue next time. So it's funny how we're different that way. Domo, hey Liron, I just finished work. Finally can catch the stream or the end of it. No, we have a bit more time. We have more time. So thank you so much for being here, Domo. Always appreciate you. You've been here for a long time, right? When did you subscribe to the channel? I'm curious. Let me know. Joe Smith, you explain things very well, Liron. Would love to see a full-length Plein-Air demo. Yeah, that's something that's I'm so late on, but it's going to happen. Mitchell Scott, and I'm going to write it down again. I always write it down, never do it. Plein-Air full demo. I wonder if I'll be courageous enough to demo it while doing it, or I'll have to narrate it after the fact. Mitchell Scott, hi Liron, have you ever tried gouache? And if so, what are your thoughts? Easy question and easy answer. No, I haven't, sorry. But I love looking at gouache processes. They look fun. Joe Smith, drawing and color sense are born talents, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't think so. I think they can be developed. I'm pretty sure they can be, actually. I do think we have like natural inclinations. And for example, who told me at the age of 7 to observe things and figure out why they look the way they look? I don't know. So that could be like a born gift. But I will say that doesn't translate directly to drawing. Drawing I had to teach myself, and I still am teaching myself. So the learning curve is actually very steep sometimes. So I wouldn't say it's inborn talent in my experience, but who knows? Laura T, I see so many artists holding their brushes or pencils so far away from the page, but I just don't like how it feels. Do you think it matters to the outcome, how you hold it? It does matter to the outcome. It's just a matter of, different strokes. Like if you're a different brush stroke, it's just a matter of, do you feel comfortable the way you hold it? So you may get a different result, but you still get the result you want. If you've tried it enough and you didn't like it, like, don't do it. If you feel like you kind of half-assed it and you wanted to do more attempts, and do it. But if you feel like you gave it a shot and you gave it a fair shot, and that's like, that's it. So don't use it. Yeah, I really alternate. Sometimes I'll do this, sometimes I'll do that for the way I hold the brush. Sometimes I'll hold it very loosely, sometimes I'll hold it more tightly. It really is a matter of like my mood at the time, trying to not force myself to do any specific thing a specific way always. Yeah. White Reza, that was a tricky question, the 5 skills. I write in a notebook all I learn about watercolor based on this classification. I believe most pro artists specialize on 2 to 3 of these eventually. Yeah, that makes sense to me. I mean, you could probably work on all of them, but yeah, I definitely have more of a thing for values, not for color as much. Unfortunately, I wish I was better, but yeah. Joe Smith, the pros know design, hobbyists struggle with that. Yeah, design is rough. Design and composition is hard. It's something I'm still teaching myself. Sometimes the values will be on point, the colors will look nice, the shapes are accurate, but still the design is not fully there. The composition isn't perfect. It's one of those things that you really have to work on. I think I need to devote time to that specifically. Tom says 10,000 hour practices from Gladwell's book. Yeah, I know that one. Huge generalization. Yeah, I also heard that take, that it's like totally inaccurate, and everyone has different ideas. I think it's a matter of finding the ideas that serve you. If you find it helpful, it may be helpful, and like whether you find it helpful or not, that's what it's going to be. We know now the quality of practice matters hugely. From research, some say it should be called the seven. Oh, that's funny. 728 to 1600, 16,120. That's funny. That's hilarious. Yeah. Yeah, because some people just get it fast, and maybe the quality of practice is better. Maybe they had, a bit of a kind of natural gift that brought them to a very still beginner point. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Joe, Liron, you must have a specific intent with each painting, correct? With many of them, not with each of them. Like with this one, I didn't have a strong intent, but with the larger ones, yes, it's like I want a specific focal point. Like the under construction is definitely the scaffolding. That was the main thing that attracted me to the scene, not the car at the bottom, not the building itself, scaffolding and the highlights. I'll usually have a specific intent to the more significant paintings, yes. Either a technique I want to work on, or an idea I want to express, or a specific detail that I like in the scene. Yeah, for sure. Arav Verma, abstract plus realism is my favorite kind of art. Yeah, that's interesting. Like very simplified realism. My favorite is like if you can drop all the details, let me fill in the blanks, but still have something that reads really well. That's my favorite, like my perfect style. This is why I really started enjoying some oils that go more abstract. It's hard to say what's my like all-time preferred style, because I love manga too. I love a lot of things, but I totally get your point on abstract and realism. Laura T, the plumb line technique really helped me. I'm useless with a ruler. Thanks for teaching it in a video a while back. Oh, cool. Happy to hear. Yeah, and I don't use a ruler for it too, by the way. I just observe. You want to at least train your eyes to see vertical and horizontal lines accurately, which isn't always easy. So sometimes when you have a 3-point perspective, you're looking at a building from below, and it consolidates, all the lines converge. It's very hard to tell what's vertical, but it's something you get with time. And you always compare to the side of the paper. So you just compare to the edge, right? So yeah. Thank you, Liron, for the kind words. Love the QA graphics. Oh, thank you so much. Rushika says, the last few paintings you posted on Instagram really highlight your growth as an artist, and it is simply delightful to see that. Thank you so much. It gives me confidence that I can do it for sure. By the way, I'm going to ask you too about your portrait illustration. That looks really cool. So I wonder if you made it. But I'm happy that it encourages you. Yeah, I put a lot more effort into these recent works, so I'm also very, very happy it shows. Megan, okay, conversation, not sure chance to answer your question. Oh yeah, I answered it, luckily. Tom, I don't believe in born talent, different abilities to perceive and process shapes and colors, perhaps. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't have an answer for that. Amber T, Embeth? How do I pronounce it? I don't know. Hi, Liron. I think my drawing is pretty good, but once I apply watercolor, it turns to caca. So I don't know if you're a Hebrew speaker, but you probably know caca is poop in Hebrew. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, just something to work on it in particular. Sometimes I would. It's so funny. So when I practiced inking, for example, I would just trace the pencil lines fast so that I can get to the inking stage. Same thing I would say with this. Just don't put a lot of emphasis on drawing and practice the painting part. That will improve you. Start light, dude. That's like a huge tip. Start light, see where it goes. Don't go too dark immediately. Try and build the shapes and see them clearly in light values, and then you can base the dark values on those and be more accurate, I guess. What Treza says, let's speculate on Liron. Yeah, definitely create the Liron painting bubble. Joe says, Liron, I purchased one of your courses that are very well done. Thank you so much. I'm happy to hear, because I always have this, is it good enough? Is it because whenever it's a paid product, I really want it to be airtight, as good as it can be. So thank you so much. Really happy that that was your experience. Rob, this was the most amazing live session show so far. So many questions answered, so much knowledge shared, so much topics found. Yeah, definitely. I try to, because it's so time consuming to type. This is a great opportunity to just get tons of questions out of the way. Maybe I'll chop it up into shorts and start uploading those as well. I think it will be a good one to upload shorts from. We'll see. But yeah, thank you so much for being here, Arav. Marina, how have you been? How have you noticed your art change in the last year? More flow, definitely more flow. Um, so a better ability to really build the wash carefully, and you know put a light wash, then do wet and wet, then turn it into some dark washes, then lift, just wash manipulation. Another thing is the desire to be more detailed and accurate, which came to fruition in these kinds of paintings like the gas cans and this one. So it was more of a mindset shift where I want more accuracy and details. I will say these are the two main key things, probably. One more thing that kind of dawned on me in the last year, or maybe even two, is just how much I don't know and how much I have to learn. I think I had much more blind faith, not blind faith, but like blind love for my work in the beginning. Now I still love it, but I think I love it in a more accurate way. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if it makes sense, but yeah. Tom says almost 2 hours of random Q&A with some great advice, jumping from topic to topic. Do you find these tiring? I think I would. For my voice a bit. And I think I'll have to use the bathroom soon, so that's another thing. But no, not really. I mean, after a live stream, I'm toast because it's a lot of mental stuff. While I'm doing it, I'm having a lot of fun. I don't even feel that I get tired until it's like just falls on me. But I think the energy I get from it really masks it. But after I'm done, I'm like, I can't do anything. I can barely paint. All I have to do is stare at something, or do something that's very low effort. I'll just, sort Pokemon cards. So yeah, that's usually, I usually zone out after the live streams, which is good that they're Thursday evening. For me, it's evening. But thank you for asking and caring about me, Tom. Mama B, do you have any experience with art stealing, NFTs? What's your opinion on that topic? I don't have that much experience. There was someone who had a website where she had a couple of books for sale, and I couldn't find her social media anywhere. Like, she didn't have like a proper Instagram or any other thing. So I suspected it's not a legit artist. And she had 4 books for a special price. And then inside one of those books, she literally used 2 pages for my own book. So you look at the picture and it's like my book, but the cover of the book and everything else was different. So then I was wondering, is she using my books? Is she selling my books? And then so I don't remember if I was able to get a copy, and I think if I was able to get a copy, it wasn't my book one-to-one, just a promotional picture. So I told her, like, can you remove that? That's not my book. You're selling your own book and using my own pictures. That doesn't make any sense. And then she was really apologetic. She was like, oh, so sorry, my designer team did it. I need to ask them to change it, and they will. I don't care about any of that. That's not me. That's not, like, no one can steal Liron. No one can steal my brain. So, like, whatever. If people copy, steal, I mean, it's not the moral thing to do, of course, but I can't be bothered. Who cares? But yeah, around NFTs, just there are some scams out there. That's so sad that there are some real scams like that. I don't know, another lame ape NFT or whatever, quirky animal of the day NFT it was, that just stole people's money. Lions, I don't know what it was even. I don't remember. That sucks. I hate that. Because some NFTs are legit, So I really dislike that. I'm not buying too many right now. Not buying any NFTs almost. I just made my VFriend purchase, and now I'm happy. I also have a Grills gang if you're in that world. But yeah, I don't have an opinion aside from it's immoral to steal. White Rosa, where can we find the list of your courses? Which would you recommend for, say, beginner plus level? Yeah, it will really depend because every one of them is meant to solve a different problem. For watercolor, I definitely go with the frustration-free watercolor for two main reasons. It's my best watercolor course. Two, I make all the profits from the sale except for PayPal fees or credit card, fees for, charging fees. On Udemy, I make like 25% of the sale. So, and it's my best, I think. For drawing, it's definitely going to be the draw anything that's in front of you. I should do like an organized page. I'll think about it. I'll do like an organized page that shows all my courses, maybe. Organized courses page. Yeah, I'll do that. And maybe I'll let you know once I do. Yeah, I know it's a mess. Some are on Udemy, some are on my own website. Yeah. Nancy G, thanks for another great live, Liron. You have a great mix of cool people following you. Yeah, everyone here is so nice. Thank you so much. And thank you for being here, Nancy. TJS, hi. I've been struggling with getting a flat variegated wash on a complex shape. It always dries too fast, leaving it patchy. Any tips? Yeah, the only two tips I can give you. So prioritize the flow over the value. So if you use a dark value that flows less, go lighter, you'll have an easier time. Use the bead, take the paper, steeper angle, and then you will get the bead and you won't lose that flow. Sometimes it also has to do with the type of page. You will get a patchy wash if you're using bad paper. Sometimes hot press paper can have that issue. So my main tips would be steeper angle, more wetter washes, more water, better flow, and do several of them to darken. That would be it. Use better paper if you can. If you're already using good paper, then you're good to go. Let me know if that helps in the future. Hopefully it will. Banani says, no worries. I will tell you every time you ask about a profile pic in a year. But maybe then it's about time to change. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That's an all-time profile pic in my opinion. Don't change it. I mean, if you have something else that you're more interested in, yeah, definitely. Charlotte Brock makes. Sometimes when I see the username as one word, I'm inclined to try and understand how to read it all. Do you have any tips for learning to paint design interior spaces? I really haven't done many and need to do some for an upcoming project. That's interesting. I don't have much experience with interiors. It's something I want to do more of. So here, let me give you like, I think a solid advice. Find paintings by artists that you like of interiors and study those. I think that's a good place to start. One artist I'd recommend is Marc Folly, Marcfolly. He's a French painter. He's amazing with interiors. Definitely check out his work. Marc Folly, Marc. He's incredible. Joe, how do you decide on pricing for your paintings? So I have a pricing based on size, and if I feel like a painting is like an amazing piece of art, I'll add to that some kind of a premium. But it's very strict by size. So this kind of a painting, this pricing, this size of a painting, this, etc. Very boring. And every new painting I upload to the gallery, I increase the prices. That way I ensure that the prices never go down. Unless I do a special sale or kind of promotion on an Instagram story or something like that, I always increase them. That's how hopefully I'll be able to create a healthy secondary marketplace for my paintings if they ever are sold there. But yeah, I try to never go back. That's one main thing. If I continue selling at a certain price, I'll increase in the future until it stops selling. David, hi Liron. To create a realistic painting, we always have to mix different tones of similar colors on the same subject. Different tones of similar colors? Do you have a practice technique in choosing colors and mixing them? Yeah, I actually have a few videos on colors in particular and how I choose them and how I mix them. If you just search for colors or color mixing on my channel, you will find those. But I will do something that's more like, maybe more specific on that and maybe a few of them. Maybe a few more videos. Size technique in choosing colors and mixing them. Yeah, that's something I need to do more of, for sure. Rushika, oh no, I haven't made a portrait. I had found this a long time. It's based on a character from one of my favorite books by Haruki Murakami. Norwegian Wood. Oh, cool. Come on, hair. There's a hair here, I swear. Where is it? Anyway, I think we're gonna. My voice is getting tired. I think what we'll do is I'm gonna end it soon, the live stream. But any extra questions I haven't answered, either leave a comment and I'll answer all of them, or I can just literally look and answer, make it a huge thread, or I'll film a video. Because I feel like my voice is starting to disappear on me, and I did have a throat ache a few days ago. So I think that's what we'll do. Maybe I'll take like one or two more. And then maybe, I'll just screenshot it and answer in a separate video, I think. David, hi Liron for creating a realistic painting. Oh yeah, we should answer that. Good. Thanks for the chat. It was helpful. Thank you, Laura, for being here. Loki, I just got here. How is the sweet little doggo? When will you paint her, Liron? Oh, Ruth is doing very well. Forrest has found a home, an adopting home, and he seems to be doing really well, and they love him. So that's the most important part. So yeah, that's great. That's been huge, and very meaningful. Forrest, the little fella, finally has his own forever home, and yeah, we're very happy about that. So yeah, it's been a huge relief, honestly, because we really wanted him to be happy, and he really deserved it, and made us very emotional. But Ruth is doing really well. She's chilling in the living room. She never wants to be here for the live stream. But yeah, in any case, yeah, I definitely need to hire a commercial team, White Reza. So I'll cut it now. I promise to go over all the rest of the chat comments and answer if there are any questions. I want to thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. We're just closed on 2 hours. Hopefully we can do more longer streams, even longer than that. Usually 2 hours is my limit, and that I have to go, but we will do more. So yeah, take care. I will answer the rest of the questions. I see there's a bunch of more of them. And I'll chop this up and I'll start posting shorts. I'm curious to see how they're going to be received, and if people enjoy just listening to me talk in short vertical format. So you will see more of that probably. You have noticed I'm uploading processes like that too. But in any case, we'll wrap it up. I will talk to you again soon. Saturday's video is going to be a good one. Don't forget to check it out. The long under construction process, frustration-free watercolor course, 15% off, I believe it is, if not 20. So check that out. We'll link in the description box. And check out the paintings, lirongallery.com. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you again real soon.